Modern blockchains process thousands of transactions per second, cheaper and more securely than ever. Yet, during mainstream adoption, the machine consistently seized up. This chart illustrates a standard analytics funnel for a decentralized application. As users progress through the onboarding flow, we see a massive drop-off spike right here, at the exact moment they are asked to connect a wallet or sign a smart contract. This abandonment is not a result of network latency, setting gas spikes, or consensus failures. The actual bottleneck is the intense cognitive friction placed on the end user. Web3 applications force people to instantly understand novel cryptographic mechanics, like seed phrases, network switching, and token allowances, overwhelming their working memory. In a decentralized system, poor interface design represents a structural failure that brings the protocol's economic engine to a total standstill. First-time Web3 users are handed a set of high-stakes responsibilities, chief among them being the strict self-custody of digital assets. Because blockchains are immutable, transactions are irreversible. The total absence of an undo button rewrites the way users approach every click. When an interface exposes the raw technical complexity of these actions without proper abstraction, it triggers acute anxiety in the user. Traditional software relies on customer service departments and centralized databases to act as a safety net. Decentralized software must use interface design to replace those safety nets entirely. To scale a Web3 product, developers have to deploy a specialized UI and UX architecture explicitly designed to engineer trust. The internet operates on two competing trust models. Web 2 relies on institutional trust, faith in a company to manage your data. Web 3 relies entirely on protocol trust, faith in cryptographic math. This split-screen flow diagram dictates design. On the left, a standard Web 2 flow moves from a centralized database to OAuth authentication, ending at a password reset state. Because that password reset node exists, designers prioritize frictionless speed. If a user makes an error, a central authority easily reverses it. But look at the Web 3 connection flow on the right. A decentralized protocol connects to a non-custodial wallet, leading directly to an immutable transaction. There is no fail-safe node. Applying highly optimized, rapid-click Web 2 design principles directly to this rigid environment results in catastrophic user errors. Without an institution to step in, the interface is forced to bear the entire burden of communicating security and transparency. Because nobody can reverse a mistake, the Web 3 interface itself must act as the ultimate guarantor of finality and safety. Bridging the gap between complex protocols and mainstream users requires a specialized abstraction methodology. This isometric diagram shows the base layer, the raw blockchain protocol, outputting unreadable hex data. First, rigorous user research identifies the anxiety triggers hidden within smart contract interactions. Once mapped, we apply the information architecture layer, translating chaotic hex data into cleanly separated, navigable data nodes. Organizing on-chain data prevents cognitive overload when users verify transaction details. Next, we cap the structure with interaction and visual design. Polished UI components lock into place over the data nodes, providing immediate feedback. Before any irreversible smart contract is deployed, rigorous usability testing acts as a final gatekeeper to catch remaining friction points. This methodology separates highly adopted decentralized applications from the thousands of abandoned projects sitting on-chain. Layer by layer, this framework bridges the gap between hostile, raw on-chain environments and secure experiences ready for mainstream adoption. This baseline architecture must be adapted to fit the distinct constraints of specific Web3 verticals. Crypto wallets and token swap platforms require their own specialized logic. These interfaces must index heavily on aggressive error state handling and security-first UX to ensure users never lose funds through a simple misclick. DeFi platforms and staking dashboards present a completely different set of UX demands. Here, the interface must translate complex financial metrics, APY calculations, and risk profiles into actionable insights. In this visualization, we see a dense, raw DeFi data feed resolving into a clean, hierarchical dashboard focused strictly on decision-driven analytics. DAOs and launchpads require yet another approach, needing highly transparent voting mechanics to establish governance credibility. Regardless of the vertical, specialized Web3 design must relentlessly prioritize clarity over data density to retain users and build trust. The economic impact of this specialized UX scales up to entire global systems, like the $5.6 trillion agricultural supply chain. The FarmScent platform was built with a specific objective: to eliminate the massive financial margins extracted by traditional middlemen. This node map illustrates the legacy structure of agricultural economics. A linear progression moves from the farmer through multiple middlemen, finally reaching the buyer. At every middle node, a percentage of the total value is drained away. The back-end technology to connect farmers directly to buyers existed, but the UX barrier was too steep. With a trust-optimized interface, they interact safely. The middlemen nodes dissolve, replaced by a direct peer-to-peer connection. Abstracting the complex blockchain mechanics allowed the platform to function strictly as an intuitive marketplace. Interface design removed entrenched financial intermediaries, successfully replacing institutional trust with protocol trust. The performance metrics of the FarmScent architecture demonstrate the hard ROI of this UX overhaul. Because the interface was deeply intuitive, it successfully onboarded over 200,000 verified farmers. That direct onboarding facilitated a 300% profit margin lift for producers. When we broaden our scope from this single case study back to the global Web3 industry, a distinct reality emerges. Blockchain infrastructure is no longer the bottleneck. The true bottleneck is the human-computer interaction layer. As decentralized protocols mature and commoditize across the industry, the ultimate differentiator between a scalable network and a dead one is the caliber of its UX abstraction layer.